Hello.
Morning, Ian. I got one for you today.
Oh, it's kicking us off with something.
I saw a billionaire in person this weekend, and
Whoa.
I want you to guess who it is. So we'll start broad, and then I can narrow it down if I have to.
Where were you?
We
Like,
went
roughly.
we went out to a little hotel bar for Jennifer's birthday to listen
Okay.
to some jazz
Okay. So in the area, around your
in
house.
the Dallas area at a little jazz bar.
All right. Well, obviously, first, guess I'm going to go Mark Cuban.
Close, no cigar.
Close. Okay.
Close, and you'll understand why.
Close to
but
Mark Cuban.
Close to Mark Cuban.
I definitely know this person.
Oh, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. And I feel like you
Definitely.
could get it in two. You could get it in
wow.
this very next guess.
Wow. There's a lot of pressure here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
What are
Dallas
aspects of
area.
Mark Cuban that could make it close?
Right. I'm thinking you're talking about the sports angle, I assume.
Okay.
Man, there's a lot of billionaires who own sports teams, though. Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones.
All right,
You got it too. Jerry
baby.
Jones, famous Dallas sports billionaire.
Yes.
We're at this little bitty bar. It's at a very nice hotel. I think it's called the Mansion Hotel, which obviously we don't stay at because we live here in Dallas. But they have this like fancy bar where there's live jazz, and that's what Jennifer wanted to do for her birthday. So we're out, we're listening to live jazz, and I kid you not, like 18 inches, 2 feet away from me, old man walks by, and I look, and it's Jerry freaking Jones. Jerry Jones walks in, and I look him up on my phone. $17 billion net worth.
Yeah,
Trying to tell Jennifer
solid.
how much money he had, and he just goes and sits at a table with 3 other friends, and he's wearing a suit, of course, and there's a big old bodyguard standing next to him. And
I was just gonna ask you that.
I'm watching him ask people to move away from his table. It's like this little bitty bar, and this guy's like, "You got to move." But yeah, he just hung out and chilled with his friends.
You gotta have a bodyguard if you're a billionaire.
Gotta have a bodyguard.
Yeah, I know. I've been in the presence of a billionaire quite a few times because one of Jamie's high school friends is married to a billionaire, and he's really old. He invented the hedge fund, like legit invented the hedge fund.
Oh wow.
But I don't think he's ever gone anywhere with a bodyguard. But he's one of these guys who, like, everybody in finance would know his name and probably would even know him, right? But like the average drunk guy in the street doesn't know him, So I don't think he doesn't really do the bodyguard thing, as far as I'm aware.
That's the ideal way to be rich. Is nobody knows really who you are. I think of all the famous people, like musicians, athletes, actors, that kind of stuff, I feel like Jack Johnson is probably right where you want to be, or like the drummer from Coldplay, because like Jack
all
Johnson
the
can walk,
groupies and all the money.
Yeah, Jack Johnson can walk down the street and nobody's gonna know who he is except maybe like some surfer, and he's gonna be like, "Oh,
or whatever.
Hey Jack," and he'd be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And that's it. Same for, I feel like probably the drummer from Coldplay can can go into a grocery store and not be just like mobbed.
Yeah. I think that's like obviously the ultimate is like mega rich, famous when you want to be, like you can make stuff happen, but you could also just be yourself whenever you want to just be yourself in a public place, and that's fine. I feel like a step down from that, but still good, would be like like happy famous, like everybody loves you famous. Like I'm thinking like Tony Hawk, or Tom Hanks.
Yeah,
Tom
Steve
Hanks,
Martin,
like,
Martin Short.
Right. Like nobody's coming up to them and like, I'm gonna punch you in the face. You know what I mean? Like they love them. Everybody loves them. And I think Tom Hanks actually got hooked up with some weird conspiracy stuff, against him, not by him. So I don't know if that's true of him anymore. But in general, there's this grouping of
patient
people.
Zero for COVID, like in the public's mind. Too. So that didn't, end up going well for him.
So anyway, but yeah, that's like the next level of like, well, people recognize me, but at least like they're just like, hey, they're yelling cool stuff at me, and it's fun and whatever.
I love it when people yell cool stuff at me. That is the ideal.
Then you just have Jerry Jones. Like everybody hates you. You haven't won in a million years. Like people are mad. Sports fans are mad at you and hunting you down for.
And you're a scumbag, so everybody's kind of mad at you. I did see Martin Short in an airport one time. He was going through, the rich person's line, and I was standing out with the cattle, and he walked by, and I don't know why, but I just said, Martin. Like, no, hey, it's Martin Short. I just said, Martin. And he looked over at me, and I just stared at him and gave him a thumbs up. And he gave me a thumbs up back.
That's the nice level of like bothering a famous person. You know, it's like, I'm not
Yeah.
asking for your time. I don't want your autograph. We don't have to do a selfie. Just like, you're cool.
You're cool. I know you.
I've
So
had
there you
very
go. There's my
few.
billionaire story for the weekend.
I haven't had many of these famous people encounters, I have to say. Like, remember when I was really young, like early, maybe even like late teens, early 20s, went to New York City one night and they were filming an episode of The Nanny. I don't know if you remember that show, The Nanny. It's like Fran
No.
Drescher.
Yeah,
So
it's before my time.
it was going on. The show was on. So I must have been a teenager, actually. We must have been there when I was like 17 or something. And so that was kind of a thing. I don't have many famous person stories to say. A little bummer.
I shook T. Boone Pickens' hand once. Yeah. First billion is
Like,
the hardest.
yeah.
Yeah. I went to some talk he was doing somewhere, and afterwards I walked up and shook his hand, and I think he might have signed. I actually have his book, The First Billion is the Hardest. He might have signed it. I don't remember, but I feel like that's the other famous person I've met.
So we were at I did the PHP NYC meetup this week.
I
and
saw
it was very fun.
all across all of my podcast feeds this morning. Bonus episode, PHP NYC. Like
simultaneous
6
drop.
of them. Yes.
That's kind of funny. It's just like people's podcast players are just overrun with the same exact
same
feed,
exact
same
media
exact
file. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was it?
It was good. It only came out an hour ago, so you haven't even listened yet.
I haven't even listened to it.
It was good. We had some Aaron Francis talk, which is always fun.
We love it. Personally, I love an Aaron Francis segment.
We closed it out with an Aaron Francis segment.
Oh, that's great. Love that for me.
We had some audio issues, but my understanding is producer Dave resurrected it from the grave. And so yeah, I think people like that. It was really fun. Great meetup. I also afterwards, I was at Zillow, which was cool. Like, it's like I'm so detached kind of from like tech startup scene at this point. It's like I have my little office in my little town. I work from home a chunk of the time, whatever. And then you just go to like Zillow's New York City offices, and it's like multiple floors, and we're in this room with like 320-inch televisions hanging on the screen, and like, they have soft seating, and like,
sodas. You get some free sodas.
We had killed the free sodas.
Jeez,
those people came in the next morning to restock the sodas, and they were like, what the hell happened in here?
We got to get a return to office mandate here at TriHard Studios. I got to get back in there, man.
Yeah, it was great. So I was like, it's been a while since I was at that kind of space. I was like, oh man, maybe I should have gotten Help Swap bigger. We could have had a big office with snacks, we don't have any snacks here. But anyway.
If you'd gotten bigger, you could have a bodyguard right now. Right now you're walking around, you're exposed.
That would be awesome. If I had gotten bigger, I wouldn't have to work an extra 10 years because of my 401k today.
Well, yeah.
That would be nice too.
Not great.
That would be nice.
Not great.
But anyway, so we're at Zillow. We're doing the thing. Good talks. I mean, one of the talks was about a guy who made a PHP package, which he turned into a PHP extension for doing poker odds. I mean, is it like fate that I'm at this event or what?
That talk was made for you.
Oh, it was great. And then we stayed late. Some of us, we did a podcast, which everybody will be hearing. And then we went for drinks at the jazz club, like you, in my hotel lobby, which is a funny story. The world's messed up, man. The world's messed up.
That much we know.
So we got there.
Why don't they just play the notes? Is this a jazz rant or is this something else?
It's kind of the whole thing.
I'm with you on a jazz rant. Just
thing.
Resolve it. Resolve the song.
We get in there. Going. No, it's even worse than that because it's midnight, which midnight in New York City is not that late, okay? It's not that late. And it's a hotel bar, okay? So I understand it's like whatever, it's a hotel bar, but I still think midnight, you gotta be open later than midnight. So they're like, we're shutting down. The people had already stopped playing, okay? So they had some jazz playing off some CD or whatever, or streaming service or whatever they got back there, but there's no humans there playing anymore. And then this is what pissed me off. So they're like, I don't like this at all. They started to clean the bar. So they're like, they don't want to serve us drinks. They're like, oh, you can have a beer. And nobody wanted a beer.
Is this before midnight?
I mean, it's like it was a little after midnight or whatever, but they were still letting you walk in, but it wasn't closed. Like they didn't shut the door. So like we went in, but then they're not serving everything they sell. They're only serving
all right.
Things they can just throw at you, right? Not like anything that's going to make anything dirty, I guess. I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way. So then I just did the New York City thing, and I'm like, listen, I go to the bartender. I was like, I will give you a huge tip. Can you just make it happen.
Bribery, the New York City thing.
Bribery, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bribe you to dirty 4 glasses.
Right.
And like, I mean, the alcohol's back. I mean, there can't be that much of this. So he begrudgingly sort of grunts at me. The waitress is like, well, he'll do, old fashions for you. I was like, okay, fine. And then he delivers us literally the worst old fashioned I've ever had in my life.
I'm like so surprised to hear this.
The worst old fashioned I've ever had. There's probably spit in it. Like, I mean, it tasted like dishwater. It was terrible. I was very mad. Very mad. The whole thing was not good in that regard. And we had a nice little time all chatting, so that was fine. But I was very irked about the setup. It's not, in the old days, if you tip somebody nicely, you got.
We used to be a country.
Yeah. And I thought we're going back to that. But now we're
well, in some ways.
We're trying to go back to the 50s. Tipping somebody big should freaking get you some shit. Like that, I thought was the point here.
Let's produce some steel, bribe some people, go back to the glory days. Here's my problem.
Either we're doing it or we're not.
Here's my problem. I hate a premature close, right? If I'm going into Chick-fil-A and it says you close at 9 p.m. and I go in at 8:45 and you're mad that I'm there, I'm mad that you're mad. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? It says on the window 9 o'clock. It's 8:45. I want some chicken nugs. Like that. I'm so sorry. Like I get it.
It's so wrong.
Sucks that you have to close a restaurant. But don't be mad at me for coming before the restaurant is closed.
And you can't fool me. I worked in retail.
You can't fool me.
Your hours
fool me once.
aren't
Shame on
me. The time on the door. It's not like at the time on the door you run out. Like, no, you are scheduled for beyond the time on the door. That is how it works because you have to clean up. Everybody knows you have to reset and clean up whatever it is. It's a restaurant. It's a
listen. I'm not walking into a TGI Fridays or a Chili's at 8:59, and I know that you close at 9, and I'm asking to be seated, and I'm gonna order. I'm going to order whatever they have at TGI Fridays. Potato skins. Loaded potato skins, probably. I'm not doing that. I'm going to Chick-fil-A 15 minutes before it closes.
Yeah.
You got the chicken back there. Like,
it takes you 1 second.
Why are you mad at me?
Just do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially at Chick-fil-A.
Here's my question.
I thought their whole thing is they're like ultra nice and they have the people outside to take your order.
This may be the opposite of stolen valor. I might be putting bad things on them that actually belong to McDonald's. I don't remember. But here's my question. Did it on the window say midnight? Like we close at midnight and you're ordering drinks past midnight? Because then I'm on the side of the bartender.
Well, here's the thing. It's like the hotel bars. No, there was no hours posted anywhere. It was open. The door was not closed. We walked in. She's like, okay, well, we're kind of sort of cleaning up, but we can serve you a beer. Whatever. I don't know. Just like shut the door. Shut the door. You don't want to serve me everything back there. Shut the door. And like you can still clean up. Okay. It's not like we came in with 40 people and we're like, oh man, we're taking over for 2 hours. Like it's 4 guys or whatever it was. Like,
so we might have a procedural infraction at the very least. They should have shut the doors.
I think so. Yes. You shut the doors and be like, oh, we're closed. Or even if we try to walk in, be like, oh, we're closed. It's just the people in here finishing up their drinks. That's it. I mean, I think this is horrible customer service and you're in a hospitality thing. And if
not
you
in New York City.
In
New York City, it's just a mob front. That's all it is in there.
Oh man, there was so much good New York City stuff. I was missing you there. I was like, I need Aaron here. He's missing all the juice. You would have loved this meetup.
I'm sorry I missed all the juice. Well,
you did miss
I can't fully endorse your position because I don't know the rule, like the closing hours. And it's unclear, but I'm leaning Ian on this one. I'll say I'm leaning Ian. Like if you want to close the bar, shut the doors. That's a good stance. I like that stance.
And if I offer you a large bribe to pour a couple
almost
drinks,
anything.
Yes, anything goes. Yes.
Yeah.
A bribe back in the day used to get you way more than just a couple drinks of alcohol. Now
that's
I'm
inflation.
For the bare minimum here.
That's bad economy. All right, what else you got? Oh, we got some follow-ups to do. You've been gone.
Yes. Yeah, let's do follow-up.
You've been gone for a little while.
Yeah.
So we had a Jordan Gall episode.
Yes,
it's a good episode.
Very good episode.
We had an Adam episode. It's a good episode.
Very happy with that episode.
Do you want to? Which ones do you want to follow up, or do you have any follow-ups on either? We can lump them all in.
I had follow-ups on both, and now it's been a few minutes, and I'm like, oh, what were my follow-ups? But all right, Jordan. Yeah, I think that was all really good stuff. Man, I really had a Jordan follow up
Oh
too in that
no! Wow,
category.
you put Jordan and follow up on the
Yeah.
board, and now you're just
Yeah, and
swinging
then
a
I was like,
miss
"Why didn't
here.
I put the notes on there for what I
Yeah,
wanted to say?" But,
bribed too many bartenders. You lost your
yeah,
whole train of
thanks.
thought.
Oh, man, I don't know, like, I thought it was great hearing his story, all the stuff with
No,
Rosie, I
no,
think,
no. You're
like,
looking
all that
for it. You've got
stuff.
no
Yeah, I
idea.
got
You've got
nothing.
no clue. We're not
You
doing
and him were
this.
talking about your stuff. What was the thing he said about your stuff? Because there was something towards the end, actually, that I just had
Okay, this is
commentary on.
something. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
Yeah, let's
Okay,
figure
all
this
right, all
out.
right, all right. He asked what the business model was.
Right.
When I told him,
Yeah.
that's pretty right down the middle. You
Yeah,
knew that one
that's
already.
right. Yeah,
That's interesting. Okay, all right, all right. We're finding it. We'll vamp. Let's see.
Uh,
Yeah, I got nothing.
yeah, I don't know. All right, let's push ahead. It was a good episode, though. I like it.
Oh man, you got to
Good
write it
stuff.
down next
I know, I
time.
didn't write
It's
it
unbelievable. All right,
down.
do you want to talk about the Adam episode, or should we just skate past it because you've got no idea what I'm talking about?
No, I listened to all these, and I did. Adam one. I mean, Adam was mostly. I feel like it was primarily about his stuff.
It was.
And I think you kind of nailed it. I felt like
It was like 30% therapy session, maybe
yeah,
40.
right. And then I feel like you hit everything. Yeah, I guess on his stuff with like their breakout of the podcasts and what they should do there. It is tricky.
Close.
I don't
Break out
know.
of the YouTube channels. You'll get there. Yeah.
Well, YouTube
Yeah.
channels.
Yeah. You're close. You're
Yeah, I
close.
wonder if he did he say if he was gonna also make them into podcasts? I guess not. He didn't
No.
really say that. So I guess he's just gonna have them be on YouTube. But I guess he's kind of thinking they'll be mostly visual, like he's gonna have visual elements there and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. The Steve, like if he just wants to work on Tailwind stuff, it seems like Adam should have his own channel and Steve's stuff should just go on the Tailwind channel, and that those two channels should be separate. And
Yep.
that seems fun. Like
That
that,
seems
I
fun.
think which is where we're at with it, right? And I was just nodding along. I think that makes sense to me and seems logical. Like he's not going to want to do the stuff that's like when he's forced to edit himself for Tailwind.
That was my whole my whole line of reasoning is Adam needs to be happy to be productive. So let's give him his own channel. And he can just put
stuff on Tailwind when he wants to, and when he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to. And so yeah, I think it's hard to do those kind of things for like purely for the business, it's like he still needs his own space to do weird stuff in.
He does.
That isn't necessarily, it doesn't have to be ROI directed, so yeah. But yeah, no, I thought they were great apps, and it's nice. A little pod vacation, but now I'm back and I'm ready.
Well, I'm sorry I sprung this question about the pod recaps on you when you put recap the pods on the board. So that feels like that feels like a hoisted by your own petard situation. I wasn't
in good note taking. Both times I was in the car, so I wasn't in like good note taking zone. I was just listening and should have done the notes.
In one year, out the other. All right.
We got another guest coming up though in a couple weeks. We got to cut.
Who we got? Give us break the news here.
No, are we breaking the news or are we keeping it a secret?
Let's keep it a secret.
Let's keep it a secret. Couple weeks.
It's very obvious, but let's keep it a secret.
Someone nobody would expect.
Yeah, exactly.
But we'll both be here for that one.
We'll both be here,
presumably. Hopefully,
we'll both be prepared for that one. It'll be perfect.
So, kind of speaking of, you got some?
No, I'm excited for the So
I'm excited about this art you got. So
you want to see it?
Yeah, I hopped on
Explain
Twitter
to the people
earlier this morning just to see what you're up to, since I'm not, always there anymore. So I wanted to just check it out. And Aaron got some art. Like this is great. Look at this. Look at this. Woohoo! Biblical art, baby.
Look how cool.
Very
Isn't that
cool.
So metal.
It is very metal, yes. And so I'm a big black and white guy, as you might know. Most of my photos I take are black and white, especially when I
hopped on
like
Blue Sky to see what you were up to.
So I like my black and white photography. As soon as I saw that, I was like, "Damn, that is a good piece of art." I like the subject. Like I like how it's like center focus there, and like, but you got the staircase, you got the dudes, you got stuff going on. Like, it's a really nice piece of art there. So, and you're hanging it. It's I guess it's on the sidewall there.
So right now it's just resting. I don't know if I'll replace anything and like move stuff around, or if I'll just like expand out off a frame. But yeah, I'm thrilled to death with it. I think it's amazing. So
where did you pick this up?
So this guy, Gustave Doré, very prolific artist, French from the 1800s, I think. Lots of like wood carvings, and then I think they print off of that, and so that's why it looks all. Producer Dave will have a link to it in the show notes, but that's why it looks all kind of like striated, because it was like carved. And so found this on just somewhere in the public domain, some like art preservation institute, whatever. Downloaded it, uploaded it to framebridge.com, clicked a bunch of buttons, and 4 days later it was here. They printed it, they framed it, they shipped it. It's great. I love it so much. So this one behind me is Framebridge. That one's Framebridge. That one's Framebridge. That one's Framebridge. They're all basically everything framed in here except for that tweet above my head is Framebridge. And so, yeah, super cool, super metal. Love the old school biblical art that's like, be fearful of God. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I love that.
Yeah, this is for the podcast listeners. This is the resurrection of Lazarus. That's the title of the piece.
The resurrection of Lazarus, and it's
that's what it depicts.
As Ian said, there's some guys. In fact, one of the guys is Lazarus. One of the other guys is Jesus. So
Jesus,
two of the main guys. Yeah,
a couple main characters.
Some pretty big guys there. And he's standing up outside the tomb with his arms raised. It's like, oh,
he's been resurrected,
man. Yeah, it's very cool. So I have a friend who has the Valley of Dry Bones, a Gustave Doré print, and it's like 3 times the size of this one. It's like 4 feet big,
really
and it's framed on his mantle, and it's this like old school. He's standing in the Valley of Skeletons, and then there's an angel above him. It's just so metal. And so I thought, hey, I like some artwork. Let's put some in here. And I like the story of Lazarus. So pretty cool, huh?
It's very cool. I was quite taken with it. I like that old art. I took art history in college, and we did a lot of obviously all your kind of Renaissance-y, pre-Renaissance-y kind of biblical art stuff. Also, as well, the best part of that class was actually all the parts of a church and looking through the old churches and whatever, all the different formal names for all the different parts of a church and everything. But
we used to build great churches. Actually, not
us, but in Europe they did.
Our friends across the pond used to build great churches.
Yeah. And then we spent a lot of time in the Louvre, which has quite a bit of that stuff. Yeah, so very cool. I like it. Yes, I like the black and white. I think the original wood would be cool. Maybe when you hit billionaire status, you can acquire the original.
I might, because I'll be an interesting billionaire. All these billionaires right now have no imagination. I'll be the most interesting billionaire ever. So maybe I'll do it. I think somebody replied and said that they found the original is 1.2 million, which is reasonable. I could get that. Get that. I can't do it right now, but once the old stock market returns, it'll be fine. It's gonna be great.
You'll have no problem coming up with that.
No problems. So probably not gonna acquire the original, but maybe an original print one day.
What about you create one, carve your own?
Now that's thinking. Okay,
there we go.
All right, here's something. I could do this.
You're looking for a project. You love projects.
Steve, turn off this part of the podcast. Don't listen to this part.
You can have you can still have hobbies, some things you do for yourself. Don't turn it into a business. Don't turn it into, I'm going to whittle 100 of these.
No, it's already a business.
You can buy them. You could just whittle it for yourself.
No, I could get an X-Carve, which is like a CNC, like a desktop CNC.
Okay.
I get an X-Carve.
I like where this is going.
I mean, it's just stealing at this point. But I could easily take his print and turn it into a wood carving path, wood carve it, and then print my own.
Man, I didn't even consider that this is a thing that exists, but of course it's a thing that exists. You can just carve wood with the laser.
I think we just described forgery and or fraud, but I could do this.
No, don't you know anything before 100 years ago you could do whatever you want with? It's only
that is true.
It's all fair game.
That is a good point. Now, this is interesting. I've always wanted a project for a CNC.
I think you should do this. How much would be? See, you need one big enough. You don't want to make a little tiny one.
Oh, no, that would be embarrassing. Can you imagine?
And that in particular has a lot of detail. It needs to be a certain size. So
I think you can get
the detail out.
I think these X-Carves, you can get 3x3 beds or 4x4 beds, which is pretty big.
4x4 feet?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's really big.
The Avid CNCs will do a whole sheet good, so they'll do 4x8.
Holy
but those
cow.
are $9,000.
So you need kind of a pretty big spot for that.
Yeah, we're back to digging a garage at that point. So
Yeah. I
This
like
is
where you're at
good.
with
I
this.
like
This is good.
This is good.
You could sell them, I guess. You could sell some stuff maybe. If it's just like automated, it's like, yeah, buy a
Yeah.
wooden Resurrection of Lazarus. Why not?
Why not? A
I love the whole
reproduction print.
idea of you having like a whole like reproduction of biblical art section of the Aaron Francis website. It's just like I sell online courses for databases, and I do YouTube videos, and I sell wood carved biblical art. Like
I sell rip-offs of old biblical art.
And then when you go to that
forgeries,
when you go to that page, like it's got to just be like 1906 looking like website,
totally,
like fake wood background.
Yes.
And like just
mail me a check and I'll send you a painting.
Things.
Yeah.
Yes, check only. This is a good idea.
Man.
This is the best idea we've ever had on here, to be honest with you. I think
this is the best idea. I don't remember what the idea we had a few weeks ago was, where we told people they should be paying for this. But that was a good idea. This is even better. Aaron sets up a Catch Me If You Can style forgery in his dugout basement.
Oh, I love it.
That's
not forgery. These are the public domain.
It's public domain. It's public domain. I'm allowed to do this.
You are. Okay. And you don't have to claim it's your own. You'd be like, hey,
I don't.
Gustav, whoever, right? That's the guy who did it. You're just making reproductions. It's all good.
That's right.
It's not Mickey Mouse. You can't do Mickey Mouse, but you can do this.
You can do Mickey Mouse.
No, you can't do Mickey Mouse.
You can. It's over.
It's over?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it did kind of end. I thought they found some reprieve from that.
No. I think it's over. And then it came and went, and everybody was like, okay, so I guess copyright doesn't matter that much. Because
Nobody's trying to do Mickey.
Nobody else can do anything with it.
If you own an entire brand for the last 100 years, it's not that easy to overtake it.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got Resurrection of Lazarus.
I got it.
The 10 Commandments, Moses coming down, and Mickey. Right?
Yep, exactly.
Those are your three things you start with.
It's a hell of an online store. Something for everyone there. The old AaronFrancis.com.
So good. And you can just get it designed. So like I love the opportunity to design something that looks old and hysterical. What a great opportunity. You got to do it.
This is a good use of AI. If I could rip off all of Disney's characters in the style of Gustave Doré, and then have the X-Carve carve it, and then I'll print it, and you can get honest to goodness woodblock printings of your favorite Disney characters. I could make many tens of dollars doing this.
I could make tens of dollars.
This could absolutely be worth a couple of dollars or cents an hour.
But
hey, we're building in America, baby. So that's something.
Manufacturing's coming back.
Manufacturing in my own garage. I love it.
Starting it in his garage.
Oh man, should we pay for the show after we talk about all this fraud for a little bit?
We should probably do that.
Bring it back to the straight and narrow. All right, you pick one. I'll do the other.
All right. Let's start with WorkOS Auth Kit. Laravel 12's new starter kits include WorkOS Auth Kit. Future-proof your authentication stack with the identity layer trusted by OpenAI, Cursor, Perplexity, and Vercel. Check them out at workos.com.
Podcast is also brought to you by our friends at Bento. Bento is the refreshingly smarter email marketing platform. You can find out more at bentonow.com. Thanks to Bento and our friend Jesse for sponsoring the show.
Jesse just puts in there for Aaron to say something nice, and that makes it hard for me to do the reads.
It does, because we all know you can't say anything nice, Ian.
You're
just gonna say, "Come on, Jesse, you got to follow the instructions, Jesse."
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Oh man.
So he does leave that one up to me, which was great. We love a little creative freedom,
Wait, that's true. Thank you all. All right. What do we got now?
I got two that are both you and both related. Ian's reworking his computer organization, and you're still on Monarch Money. And we got a few requests for a little bit more about Monarch Money. So let's hear. Did you get a new computer, and are you rolling forward, or are you just starting from scratch?
I didn't even totally get in. I wasn't even thinking that angle on it, but yes, I do have a new computer.
Okay.
So, all right. So I have my what I had up until this point was a M3 MacBook Pro, a couple years old, zillion gigabyte, maxed out RAM.
Love it. Love being a business owner.
Got 128 gigs of RAM, or whatever. Great computer. Don't have any trouble with it. It's a little on the heavy side, not crazy heavy, but it's a little on the heavy side, a little on the thick side. Carrying it back and forth to the office, kind of annoying. And my interest got piqued. So I was traveling. So I went to Disney, traveling with the computer. Kind of heavy. Like I'm carrying this huge thing through security, whatever, blah, blah. and I saw a thing about the M4 MacBook Airs. And I was like,
Right.
oh, this is intriguing. Now, I used to just never even consider MacBook Air because I was like, it's 13-inch screen. I can't do it with a 13-inch screen. But now they have 15-inch MacBook Airs. So I acquired M4 15-inch MacBook Air with maxed out RAM, which is only 32 gigs, but whatever, it's fine. And thing is unbelievably good. I have to
It's
say,
good?
it's very, very good. I can't even
Really?
really tell the difference between the MacBook Pro and it. It's just super fast at everything. And other than the screen being an inch smaller, which I would love it to have a 16-inch screen and still be lighter like it is. But other than that, it's fine. Like the 15-inch is fine. Like 13-inch I could not deal with, but the 15-inch it's enough, so it's fine. So that's where I'm at right now. So now that's my home travel. I got the MacBook Pro at the office. I may
You're
at
running
some
2
point.
computers?
I'm back to 2 computers, which I
No,
don't love.
sir.
I
No,
don't
sir.
love 2 computers. It's easier than it used to be because most everything is just like synced in the cloud anyway. So it's not as hard as it was. We'd have to figure out, well, how do I sync these files between the computers or whatever? Like,
No, I'm not doing
that stuff
that.
is just. So there is a chance here that I just sell the MacBook Pro. I'm kind of debating that. It's so much lighter now. Dragging it back and forth, not so bad. Like I have just like a little tiny bag I drag it back and forth with. So there's a chance I sell the MacBook Pro. But for right now, I'm running both, which then ties into my organization, which has actually made this more doable to run both, which is, so I always used a bunch of desktops. I think that's what I
Okay.
call them, right? Like,
Yep.
so I had like 5, 6
Spaces or
desktops.
what? I think they
Yeah, the
used to be called
spaces.
spaces.
And I'd like, swipe between them, swipe between them. But like, there's so many, it's kind of annoying. Like you have to go all the way to the other side. So you go all the way over and it's like 6 swipes and whatever. So I started using Stage Manager. I don't know if you ever used Stage Manager.
Is this Apple or is this third
Apple.
party?
No, it's
Okay.
Apple built in. And I think it started on the iPad, but it's basically it kind of puts the apps, it's like you can make desktops essentially. It's kind of more focused on a single app, but you can have like as many as you want in theory. Some places I have 2 or 3 apps, but it lets you kind of group them and then they go off to the side. So along the left side, you'll have like groupings of different apps on one desktop. And so by doing that now, I'm down to 3 desktops. Like I have a coding desktop on the left. I have like web browsing, kind of general businessy stuff center, and then communication is the right desktop. So I can always just go one swipe left or right from my main kind of web browsing desktop between wherever I have to go. And the communication desktop has like the email and Slack and messaging services, but they're all in different stages. So I can just bring up the one and just be focused on that. Okay, I'm doing email. I just see email and the other stuff's off to the side. And it's really pretty good. I'm enjoying the Stage Manager way more than I thought I would. It's actually
this is
very useful.
weird.
It is weird. I've always avoided it because it seemed weird.
It's like
and there's not like a lot of settings and stuff, which is kind of weird too. It's like sort of just works how it works and you can't do much to change it. But
it looks like a dock, but it only shows the apps that are open and it shows little like little screenshots of them instead of just their icons.
Yeah, it is. And it is basically like a dock, but it's sort of just around the running apps. And you can see them, which is kind of useful. It's not a screenshot, it's actually live. So if stuff changes, you see it.
That's
Or
interesting.
I mean, in other words, like some kind of real-time screenshotty thing, but it's like a live view into the app.
Yeah.
And I don't know, just kind of keeps it all organized. I'm not a full screen app guy.
I don't know about this. I don't know about this. I'll be honest.
You're not feeling it?
It looks a little cluttery to me.
I don't know. I haven't, it's it's sort of true. It is cluttery, but also now I just really have one app open at a time, but it also doesn't have to be full screen. I don't love the full screen and like switching.
I don't like the full screen.
Yeah. So then rather than having like all these like little windows, and I'm going to corners and clicking them. It's like, I just have taken up the whole thing. I'm just focused on that one thing. And then I just switch to the other docked item when I want to switch to it. And that takes up the whole screen. So it's actually less cluttery overall. That was my fear about it. I'm like, I'm kind of dedicating the left side space. You can overlap it. So you don't actually, it doesn't have to take up the left side. Like it can also, like if you totally overlap it, it'll hide. And if you just put the cursor all the way left, it'll come out.
Interesting.
So that to me then makes it a little too slow. So I like to like at least have part of them visible so I can like get to it. But for most apps, I don't cover them at all. But like the code editor does cover them and whatever stuff like that. But it's pretty good. I think you should try it. If you're out there listening, try Stage Manager if you feel a little cluttery. I think it actually declutters, especially with the desktops. You get the multiple desktops. Each one has stages. You can have a lot of stuff going on without feeling like the overwhelmed sort of nature of it. And the other thing I did is I switched to Safari.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah. So this was kind of the other thing with the MacBook Pro is like it eats through the battery. Like I know in theory it's supposed to have a pretty
Yeah.
solid battery. And I don't think it's totally MacBook Pro. I think partially at least it's probably was Chrome, which was sort of the impetus that kicked this all off was I first switched to Safari before I did these other things. Cause like I'm so tired of having no battery. And let's see if Safari fixes that. And it has been much better on Safari. So that does help.
Man, I don't think I could leave Chrome. It's just
Yeah,
too convenient.
it's Safari's definitely not as good as Chrome. It's not as fast, I would say, at this point, which used to be faster. I'd say it's
Yeah.
not as fast now in a few instances. And I have all the extensions I need. So I think I'm sure the Chrome extension situation's better, but it's fine on Safari. But I don't know, like I'm also trying to just keep less tabs and stuff open. So I'm actually using the start screen. Like I've had a whole kind of reorg there. So I'm not like with 200 tabs open all the time.
And how long are we into this? Because I want to see how much of this
We
is
are
like newfound energy and how much of this is we're gonna keep
we're
this.
about 2 weeks into it.
That's
Maybe.
pretty good.
Yeah. It's not just like yesterday. It's maybe
Pretty
even 3 weeks
good.
into it, 2 or 3 weeks into it.
I don't know how you're running two computers. That just never ever works for me.
We'll see how it goes. Right now, I have the stages set up the same. Everything's the same on both of them. There's no way to sync it, which would be like super primo. I wish Apple just gave you a like, hey, keep my desktops the same everywhere. It doesn't do that. But so far it's okay. But we'll see. Last week I wasn't at the office that much. So we'll see this week. I should be here a lot more. So we'll see the annoyance level of going back to the other computer and be like, oh, like that thing's not where I thought it was and all that kind of stuff. But so far it's okay. It just sucks when you like forget to push some code or things like that. That tends to be the things that are the most annoying. It's like, oh, I didn't push that. Now it's at the office.
Or like you got to keep your settings in sync between all those different apps.
That part's kind of crappy too. There's probably a better way to do that. I have not researched that, but like, I mean, a lot of the apps, like the code editors, some of them have like syncing services, although I always have problems with those. Like, I don't know, like every time I do this, it's like, oh, it should be able to pull PHP Storm should be able to pull down the settings, but then it like never is exactly the same. And like, it's like it's ostensibly the extensions are supposed to be synced, but then they don't actually install. So then like, I guess you're supposed to install them or something. I don't know. There is a lot of weird stuff with like how the syncing of those type of things work, which is super annoying. So I don't know. Like I said, I could see that going by the wayside. That's sort of unrelated to the actual reorganization of the work environment, which I definitely am liking. And I think I'll keep, but we'll see. Like you said, it's still kind of early, but it has so far held up, and I have been liking it.
Well, I need to get an M4 at some point. I'm on an M1 still.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, you got.
I know. I'm just like crawling through gravel over here.
Do that like today before they go up.
Before the tariffs hit. Before it becomes $34,000 to buy a computer.
I would like legit buy that today, like right after the show.
Damn it.
Yeah, but you should do it. And it's cheap. I mean, like the M4 maxed out. I mean, it's not cheap, but it's way less than a MacBook Pro. So like max RAM, I did a terabyte of disk. It was still under 2,000, I think.
Oh, wow, that's surprising. Yeah, apparently those M4s just rip through video encoding, which would be pretty important for me.
Gotta be
and I have like an external enclosure for my capture card, and so I do get a little bit of offload there. So the camera runs into like a Thunderbolt enclosure that has a card in it, and then the Thunderbolt goes into my computer. So I have to imagine that's doing some work for me.
Oh, what's that for? Like, what's that just to like? What's in there?
So I had the Cam Link 4K, which is great, which is just a standard HDMI on one side, USB on the other. But then I wanted to start capturing more cameras, so I have a overhead cam that I use sometimes, and this is a Deck Link Quad, and so I can run 4 HDMI into that, and then it shows up in my computer as 4 different webcams, which is kind of cool.
That's cool.
I know, it's crazy.
Have you done anything with that yet? I feel like I haven't seen overhead.
I've done a little bit on live stream overhead where I'm like drawing on stuff, but not in any recorded videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta get Casey Neistat on us. Next video, I want to see you drawing some stuff out.
I know. Let's talk video. Let's talk screencasting.com.
Okay. What you got for me?
It's almost here.
Yay!
It's almost here. So far in the can of like things we have done. We've got how to screencast, which is the main course, philosophical, whatever. We've got the editing with ScreenFlow, which is me teaching. So I taught those two. Steve taught editing screencasts in Premiere. That one's done. We've got an editor that we have been using who's great, has recorded a course editing screencasts in Final Cut Pro. That one's done. Then we found a guy online on YouTube who does DaVinci. And so we've got editing screencasts in DaVinci. So we've got 5 courses done and ready to go. Yeah, 5.
That's crazy.
And then we've got I think 3 more in the wings that are in progress. So we've got OBS, Screen Studio, OBS. And then we found somebody on YouTube to do Camtasia, which is the other big editor. And so I'm still looking for somebody to do Descript because I understand that their stuff is quite advanced now and I know nothing about it. But we've got 5 courses ready to launch, 3 more on the way, and then we've got some digital downloads. So like the guy that did the DaVinci course also made a DaVinci plugin for us to like automatically edit the face cam into the right position and make it look good and stuff like that. Wow. And so we'll be selling those digital downloads as well. So
it comes with the course, or it's like a separate thing you buy?
There will be a bundle that you can bundle the plugin as well, or you can just buy the course. That'll teach you how to do it, but if you want the easy way out, the plugin's the way to go.
Yep. Wow. So
when think about all that,
that's a lot's got done in a couple of weeks here.
I know. You go on cool. 1 trip or 2 trips and stuff happens.
Wow, that's great. So I guess you're going to do the big launch and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we'll do the launch end of April, I think, beginning of May.
All right.
So right now what's left is I think they're all edited because we have that editor. So I think they're all edited. I think they're all uploaded on Cloudflare already. And so like they're in the system. And so all the videos are there. We are just redesigning the website because screencasting.com does not currently live on the TryHard platform, but we're designing it so that it will. And then I have to finish the billing. The billing, and it's just
it's just going to be forever. You're never done. First of all, you're not even close to done. You just got to get it shippable, but then you'll have months of work after that.
It's just terrible. So shocking to me that all of these systems are so bad. Like I get it. They cater to like the 90% use case, and we're not really in that use case because it's like, hey, we want to sell courses and downloads and do it all across multiple domains and also like do upsells across multiple domains. And it's like we're not totally a normal use case. But man, these shopping cart solutions are just not great.
But the thing is that you're not the normal use case in a sense, but I bet you're much more like the successful use cases. I think a lot of people who are successful at this do sell a lot of different things and do have a lot of different courses and do brand them differently, right? Like yes, they're not 90% of like your bad customers who like, I'm going to build a course. And then they build a course and then they sell 4 copies and then that customer disappears and you don't have them anymore. Right? Like, so you would think they would want to cater to like, oh, like these are successful course retailers and they have more sophisticated needs than the ones that never got past 1 course. And
boy, if I accidentally end up building a course platform, I'm going to be really bummed. Like if this becomes the piece of software that we build, I'm going to be not
Here's
thrilled
a question
about that.
for you.
Okay.
Question. This is going to be so insightful. I love this question of where your mind's at.
Yeah.
So you're building out this platform, right? So you can sell your stuff.
Yep.
Do you have tenant IDs in the database already?
We do not.
Okay, so you're building it for yourself right now.
We're building it for ourselves.
You haven't gone to I have an eye on the future. You're keeping it focused on your stuff. Okay.
I will say part of that is because in the database, each site is basically a tenant. So Postgres, SQLite, screencasting. It's all kind of a tenant already. And
but they would want to be aggregated. Like you would want to aggregate them. If you had other people in there, you would want those together under some bigger account idea.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yes. Yeah. So the only thing we could do right now is bring on someone else and like host, one of their sites or something. Right. But yeah, it would be all mixed up with.
But that would be
like
a bespoke,
totally
like
bespoke.
Somebody you want to bring them in, that's fine. Yeah. But like it wouldn't be. You couldn't sell it that way.
No. Yeah. And I just don't really want to. I would much rather produce Gustave Doré forgeries than build a course platform. I'll say that much.
All right, so this is a topic I had. I didn't know if we wanted to get into it. I didn't know if I even wanted to get into it, but it kind of relates to this and your stuff.
I'll tell you if I want to get into it. So tell me what it is.
So I'm thinking about these tariffs, right? I'm thinking about recessions,
okay.
Right? That's why I didn't start with it. I was like, I don't know if I get into it, but I think there's some interesting stuff to talk about besides in and of itself, right? The reality is there's going to be a recession. Maybe they'll be worse than that, but there's definitely going to be a recession. So how do you survive?
Let's just say up front that this is financial advice.
This part will be financial advice of a certain
please listen to us and make trades based upon this and hold us personally responsible.
So what do you do as a small software company or related industry, right? And it's like, I don't know about if I have a lot of ideas on like what you do to survive. I feel like a lot of it happens beforehand, and kind of wanted to get into the idea of like the kind of businesses that survive this sort of thing.
Okay, I can take that angle. I will allow this. Let's carry on. Let's carry on.
So
I'll give you a yellow card if we get too close, but let's carry on.
To me, I feel like one of the key things where like, so HelpSpot was around for 2008 recession. Okay. Yep. And I think there's been a recession somewhere in the 2010s too, or whatever. Actually, it was some of our best years, right? And whatever. I think there's an element if you want to be selling something that's not easily gotten rid of, right? That's not easy to push till later, and things like that. And so if you're out there trying to start something or you're already in something, like in my case, right, it's help desk software. It's hard to not have help desk software. Like you may fire staff and you may use less of our help desk software, but it's hard to just be like, let's save this money because that email is coming in from your customers. So as long as you're still in business, people are going to need help. And as long as you need to organize that help, you're probably going to need some kind of tool to do it, right? And so not perfect, especially now with AI. I think help desk software has some other possible tricky parts we have to navigate, but just big picture, it's like companies aren't going around being like, let's get rid of our help desk software to save money, right? But that's not true. Like, consumer stuff is a little trickier. So this is what I was thinking about your stuff. It's like, am I going to buy this course? Like I work at a job. I want to get better at X. Do I want to spend $200 on that right now or not? Right? With economic uncertainty. Yep. And so then that's like, how do you position things you already have, you and the abstract you of like, how can you sell the businesses? How can you sell? I think screencast.com is actually really cool and like awesome for right now because it's the kind of thing that's like, I think it's a lot different than the database courses. I think it's like people want to improve on their own, want to like maybe have a side gig, maybe there'll be more impetus to do that kind of thing of like,
this is aspirational,
or even beyond aspirational. Like now it was aspirational, but now I'm worried about my job. I'm worried about
it's necessary.
Now it might be like, hey, how do I create some like additional income and things like that, right?
True.
So like this is something that can help me do that. Whereas like the database stuff's a little more like, I'm already a programmer. If I learn this new database or not, I don't know if that's like going to turn into
jobs,
more dollars for
anyway.
me. Right. The jobs are getting tight. Like, so that's a little different. Now you guys already started on the angle of like selling it to businesses, which I think is maybe something to like double down on. Like, hey, maybe instead of those database consultants you pay your in-house staff, you could get them trained up on the databases you use and save all that money you're paying to Percona right now or whoever, right? So like,
I like that.
There are angles there for that stuff. So I don't know if you've thought about any of this, but this is the kind of stuff I've been thinking about is like, and just for people who are out there, it's like, if you're thinking about doing something, like I would not do anything in the consumer and I would not do anything like that doesn't really impact the business. Like if it's tangential, I feel like this is not the time for the tangential sort of startup. It has to be something that's more deeper. And ideally something that saves people money. Like people will be very hot right now on like, how does this save me money? So I think, that's probably a good angle. But
yeah, I've I do think about it a lot. Lots of existential fears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with the characterization between the two, or the distinction between the two courses or types of courses. I think that's one of the reasons we're leaning into screencasting so heavily right now, is it feels like a different type of content,
Yeah.
and can be sold more easily than some of the database stuff, frankly.
It's more actionable,
It
I feel
is.
like, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're teaching me how to do this, and then I will know how to do it in a
correct.
way that, like, the programming stuff is like, this is a part of a bigger picture that you would need to then you need this other stuff too, and actually to order, in order to do something with it. Whereas screencasting is going to take you from not knowing how to screencast to knowing how to screencast and edit,
And yeah,
and
and
you will then be able to do it.
you don't need anyone's permission. You don't need to
Right.
get hired by anyone because you have
Yeah.
all this new database. Not no, it's just
Right.
now you can go produce your own stuff.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a more direct line to potential value for the consumer there. So yeah, we're trying to lean into that pretty heavily, and
Yeah.
that's part of the reason we're going so big on the content. Like we're paying a good amount of money to these people to like produce this content for us. But I think that is what the opportunity demands. I think this is a big opportunity for us for Try Hard, and maybe the timing is going to work out perfectly, where everybody's back into grind mode because party's over, and they're
Right.
thinking, "What can I do to like make some money?"
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. But I definitely think about the looming apparently great collapse that is coming, and thinking like, well shoot, I feel like we just
That's
barely
a
got our
bummer.
feet under
Yeah.
us. It's been 1 year. So yeah, not
Well,
great.
screencasting to me also has like really direct like market. I mean, like outside of your circle marketing opportunities, which I think is
Yes,
interesting. Like, I mean, this is like begging for like Instagram video,
I know.
TikTok video, like whether it's sliced up portions or probably better like dedicated little skits, for lack of a better
Yep.
word. I don't know what the right term is, but um I could see you guys really like leaning into that, and yeah, just reaching like new audiences rather than just kind of the core Aaron Francis crew, because it's going to be a wider
That's
product. Which just having a larger addressable market is really nice, I think, as well. So yeah,
I think
yeah.
unfortunately, I may have to go back into goblin mode after screencasting is out. I may have to go back into the lab and do like crush out 3 or 4 more courses this year.
Oh, you're gonna go that route with it.
I think so. I mean, so there are just some that are just so
They're
obvious.
just missing.
Yeah, that are missing. I think like an indexing course. It's just indexing. Just a short course about database indexing. Like that seems like a no-brainer. Intro to Postgres, or just enough Postgres, just enough SQLite, just enough MySQL, and then a MySQL course. And then obviously I gotta do a Laravel course, man. Like
A Laravel course.
what the
Yeah,
hell are
that's
we
kind of
doing
it's kind of
here?
crazy you don't have a Laravel course.
What's going on?
Okay, I agree with the Laravel course. I don't know about the other one. I don't know. I'm a little worried about the idea of like the beginner entry level stuff.
Now,
If the economy goes bad, I don't know. Still, I don't know. I'd love to see you go goblin mode on like Instagram and TikTok for the stuff you already have. Like
yeah,
a
that's
month of
interesting.
that, a month of like marketing goblin mode of like, we are gonna create 100 different little variations of different ideas, see which ones actually resonate, double down on those more, and which is some of the stuff you talked about with Jordan. Like
Hey,
that.
it's coming back.
Yeah, it's all coming back now. That kind of
Yeah,
thing. Like, well, I mean, he was talking about from his perspective, and he's paying people to do it, but you don't need to pay people to do it. You can just do it.
I don't
And
know. So that's
so
my next question. Do you follow Marshall Haas on? I guess not on
I
Twitter.
think I know who he is. Didn't he
He
buy some service or something?
he
Is that
sold
guy or
some
no?
service.
Oh,
He
he sold the
sold
service. Shepherd or whatever? Is that
support
guy?
Shepherd, then
Yeah.
Shepherd, now somewhere.com.
Okay.
So mega rich now. And he hired some kid locally. I think he's in North Carolina now. He hired some kid locally to come like basically record a bunch of short form content and edit it and put it out. And um he just got his first million view thing on TikTok, like, 3 weeks in, and he's doing a lot of like, he's driving his, sports car, his custom sports car around town and giving business advice and whatever.
What's he
But
selling? Or he's just
oh
its
man,
own
who knows? I
personal
have no
brand?
idea. Yeah, no
Okay.
idea.
Yeah.
But I feel like I would need to do that. Like I would need to get somebody who is a TikTok native.
Who's
I
in it.
am not a TikTok native. I don't have the app. I don't get it. Like I
Yeah,
just
I don't
need
have it either.
somebody. I need somebody unhinged to come and just like record, I don't know, 3 days worth of content and then give me 50 different edits or 100
Right.
different edits.
Well, but that's still the same idea, right? Like, hey, we're going to take a couple of weeks. We're going to hire somebody to come in here for a couple of weeks to work with me to like spruce me up into TikTok, Aaron, and do whatever that requires, right? And do all that stuff. And then courses for sure. I mean, I think the Laravel one would be a high priority, I would think.
I know.
But I don't know. Maybe the indexing is sort of interesting for sure. It's like a nice discrete thing that people are interested in.
They could apply across all database flavors, which would be nice.
Yeah, for the most part.
Yeah, I think there is something missing in our catalog at the lower end of the market. So I think that could potentially be very lucrative. Whether it's good timing, I don't know, but I do know it's missing. It's easy. And with the new basically e-commerce platform, I think it's a good good bundle. Yeah, we got to fill it up. It's a good bundle opportunity, cross sell, whatever.
I wonder if you could I don't know. There's probably even like other things that you could sell at some point too. I wonder if like you could have relationships with consultants or something and like
maybe
cross sell some services. It's never going to be huge money though, is kind of the annoying part of that, but it could be a little something like referrals and things.
Yeah, riddle me this. We've thought about for screencasting. Well, I don't think we want to
program for that.
I don't think we want to be an agency. That's one thing, but it is actually hard to find video editors that like have good taste and know like how to make a good professional screencast. And like we loaned our editor to Adam for his email course, the videos he did for that, and Adam was like, "This guy gets it." And I'm like, I know, like, yes, he's so good. And so having a stable of editors who can do this kind of stuff, but also having like the front door, like you're coming to screencasting.com. It would make sense if there's a / editors that you could like hire or pay us through, or you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So what does that look like?
I like that. I mean, presumably these things sort of exist, but I guess this would be like maybe it's more vetted, right? And it's like more senior probably in general, and you guys have vetted them and they're screencasting.com approved, kind of thing. And yeah, there's something there.
There's something sort of there, like this
idea. I mean,
because we do get a lot of like primarily dev tool companies coming to us and saying like, hey, can you edit our videos? And it's like, no, not really. And I will say some of the times what they actually want is motion design. Like they look at Steve's, trailers that he makes and they're like, hey, can you edit me a video? And it's like, that's like 2% editing, 98% sound and motion. But so maybe even that's in there,
I like two angles on this. I like you guys just hire somebody and sell this as a service especially for the people who come to you, be like, yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, if it doesn't work out or you can't make enough on it, then you get rid of the editor and you move on with your life. But it sounds like if there's like a fair amount of inbound with you not even saying you do this, and then if you actually said you did it, then more revenue. Like, I don't think it's going to be the majority of your revenue, but if it's an extra 15-20% or something at some point,
not mad about that. That covers one tariff. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. It covers the tariffs. And if it's like something that's not going to require that much time of either of you, I don't think. It's like kind of, okay, like we collect the money and then we hand it off to the editor and there's a little project management stuff. But if you get a good editor, maybe there's not even that much of that. And so I kind of like that. And then I like an editor directory, which I think you could go a couple different ways with. The simpler way would be people just pay money. Like we do this on Lara jobs. Like
that's true.
Just, hey, you want to be listed? You apply. If you got, depending on the level, you could just have it be money and that's it. You could have it be, we certify you to make sure you actually know some shit.
That's true.
we let you in. But either way, and you can have like 2 tiers or 3 tiers, whatever. It's like, hey, just to get listed so people know you're around is X, but then you could be placed higher on, you're always at the top of the list for Y, right? And that keeps it really simple, where you're not trying to figure out like, well, we want a percentage and how do we track what they actually build, like all that stuff. Like it's just like, hey, this is just some extra money. You're providing a platform for people to find them. It's just like transactional and straightforward, and not all the complexity of a deeper business arrangement.
So,
it's just like
you just start
money
with basically just a directory.
Yeah,
a pay to play directory.
Yeah,
don't hate that.
Yeah, I mean, I think people would pay to be on there. I think, because like, how do they get surfaced? You know, and this is a site that's got a lot of activity, and you're going to be pushing people towards it, so people are going to find it, and everybody's going to be like, yeah, I want to make the content, but
I don't want to edit it. Yeah.
You know? So like,
this is I don't know if you're familiar with Dave Ramsey. Probably for some sort of scandal. He's a very, very rich, very public radio Christian guy.
Sounds kind of familiar.
Save all your money. Also, I have, $100 million. But anyway, that's very much his style. Is he's got his stable of trusted, mortgage people, life insurance people, financial agents, that kind of stuff. And I think it's all that you pay a fee to Ramsey Solutions. I'm sure they do some vetting, but there's this massive industry of people paying to be listed as like a Dave Ramsey specialist.
Yeah. And the bigger you get and screencasting gets bigger, like you could have, like, I'm sure that guy's not just like, hey, you pay me money. It's more like, I'm driving a huge percentage of your total business, right?
Oh, so
you're paying me a lot of money, like, or you're paying me a percentage of your overall revenue or whatever, like, because it's a bigger operation. So like when you get, if you get to that point and be like, oh man, we're sending these guys like lots of business, then you can obviously at the very least charge more, or you can have more sophisticated arrangements or whatever. But like, I think day one, it's just like, hey, build a little redirector, whatever, contact form, so you can kind of track, at least on some level, how much action they're getting, and just a list. They hook it up to Stripe, they pay money, then they're on there, and that's it. You could even have like anybody can buy it, but there's a different tier that's like, you guys have given your stamp of approval, which is like they pay extra money for you to take the time to actually give a stamp of approval, and then that gets them whatever other perks along with it. It's like, yeah, I think that would be really good. And I don't think it's going to be like your whole business or anything, but I think it'll be nice extra income, and why not?
We're in the business of having a lot of businesses, so that's fine with me.
And it's like so easy, because it's not like, once it's built and going, like, you don't really have to do much. It's like occasionally somebody wants a refund, or somebody has some little random problem, but like, you're not going to be thinking about this every day. Like, oh man, people need stuff.
I do like starting with a directory and not being in the middle of it.
Yeah. I think you don't want to be in the middle. You don't even know if you're providing that much value yet. If you start a directory, it's like you can see how much value you're actually shipping out to them, and then decide what the appropriate level of compensation is later. But you can just start with a paid directory, and you make some money, they get some promotion. All good.
I like this. Okay. I'll pitch this one to Steve. The broadening of that empire is very important to us. So I like that idea directionally.
Yeah, no, I think that it should have like kind of SEO, but you got to do all the SEO stuff, man. Like all the cameras, reviews, and all that stuff kills.
I know. We're working on it. It's happening, man. I know. You're telling me.
Oh man, yeah, that stuff didn't get done either. Jeez, we got a lot to do this year.
Got a lot to do.
We're already a third through the year.
What do you think I'm always stressed out about? I got so much to do.
Oh my goodness. All right. What else you got? You went to Epic Web Conf while I was gone, huh?
I did, yes. It's old news now, but I went to Epic Web Conf. It was great. Saw a lot of friends of the pod. Hank was there. Laravel Hank. Bunch of Laravel people were there. Josh Siri was there.
Really?
Leah was there. What Sam, the new events woman, was there. So got to see a lot of people. Got to see some WorkOS people. Thanks for sponsoring the pod, WorkOS.
Love the WorkOS.
Love the WorkOS. Yeah, it was great fun. Obviously, Kent was there. Kent C. Dodds. It's his show. Put on a good conference.
I didn't think it had like pushed its way into the Laravel circles to this level. Like, have you been to it previously?
I have not. And
maybe this is the first year where it's.
I think this is the big showing.
Where Laravel has come in.
Yeah, and I don't know why. I'll be honest with you. Don't know why. But yeah, a lot of Laravel people showed up. I know Hank. Right? I did give a talk. Okay. Hank and Sam are close, like physically, to Salt Lake City. Josh was historically a JavaScript guy, and Leah, I think, has done a lot of JavaScript. So maybe, they're all in that community. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gave a talk, went great.
Nice.
Working on turning it into a series of articles. It's similar to talks I've done before, but there are more tactics. So this is five strategies for increasing your odds of success, one of which is like a talk I've done before, which is like publishing your work, and then there are some others. So working on turning all of those into articles and getting those published, which is great because I've already done the work, right?
Yeah.
Did all the work.
That's nice.
It's in one medium. Now I just got to translate it to a different medium, and now I've got 5 new articles, which is always good.
Love the repurposing.
Love it. So good conference. And it made me think, we got to put on a conference, Ian. We got to do it. There's no money in it, apparently.
You lose money in the conference.
Yeah, I don't like losing money. I like gaining money.
Lose money. Especially if you factor your time. If you don't factor your time in, you can run a physical world conference, like break even or making some money. But if you do factor your time in, you're definitely losing money.
Definitely losing money.
But I do think I would like to do something.
There's something there.
Maybe there's like a smaller, less committal version. That's like a phase 1. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think if we had been thinking, we could have done a pre or post Laracon Day conference.
So I was thinking along those lines also. Or even like, what a lot of this is not quite like having your own conference, but like it's just like an evening thing. It's like we're throwing a party sort of thing, or like we rented out a bar and everybody can show up and just hang out for 3 or 4 hours or something. Like,
yeah, that's very different. Fun, but very different.
It's very different. It is very different.
We spend a bunch of money for people to come hang out at the bar.
It's still cheaper than throwing a conference, but yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
And we're already there, such as a factor. All right, if we did a conference, I don't know. I don't think we're going to do a conference.
Yeah,
but if we were going to do a conference.
If we were, let's just, hey, come on. Hey, if
we were. Are we just doing microconf? You know what I'm saying? Or are we doing something different?
We're doing old school microconf. We're doing throwback microconf.
Yeah.
We're doing a conference for developers who are building businesses.
We're having talks.
We're having a few talks.
All talks? Is it 8 hours of talks a day? We're having 16 speakers? Or
we're doing one day, first of all.
One day.
We're starting with a one day. Yep.
Hard to do one day though. How do you get people to travel for one day? That's the problem with one day.
Kent did it.
Did he?
Yeah.
This Epic Web was one day?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
There was a speaker dinner the night before.
Okay.
There was an event the night before or the day before that was sponsored by Mux. It was the Jason Lingsdorf TV show that I did, a while back. And then there was a ski day after. Of course, it was optional, which I didn't do. I just went home.
They kind of padded it out with some optional activities.
Yes.
Kind of intriguing.
But we would do a one day program, maybe a night before and a day.
Right.
Couple of talks, some hang time, and then maybe an optional day after thing.
One day is intriguing.
Nah,
one day makes it easier.
We got him.
Yeah.
You got it.
Well, the day you're so exhausted by the second day. You're just like
so exhausted. But imagine the second day. The second day is just like you go, you have a nice long brunch with your friends. You have like there's a whatever, a walking tour. I don't want to do that, but there's something the second day that people can do, or you can just sit around and hang out with your new friends.
Second day would be cool to have like where you had the space still, or some kind of space.
Yep.
Probably not the same size space. Some kind of space with like brunch provided.
Yep.
And it's like part of the conference, but there's no talk. Wait, this is just network hangout. This is like we provide food. We provide space. Oh, the people you met the day before, you can like chat further with or meet some new people, whatever. It's a big hallway track, kind of like 1 p.m. It's over, go home kind of thing. That could be interesting. How many talks did he have?
He had a lot, actually, because he had a few lightning talks that were 5 minutes. So there ended up being a lot of talks. I want to say like 15 or something.
Wow. But some of them are lightning. But still, it's a lot.
Still, it's a lot.
It's epic, though.
It is. Epic Web. Big day.
How many people do you envision? Like, what's our goal for the attendance?
100? 150?
Yeah. Where do we do it?
Where?
Yeah.
All roads lead to and are in Dallas, so we could do that.
Dallas has a good air situation.
We do have a good air situation, very
We have
clean.
a man on the
Oh,
ground.
you mean easy to get to? I see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
easy to get to.
We do have a man on the ground. Everybody loves
So
Dallas.
it's good. Everybody loves Dallas. We know that.
I do think
interesting.
Anchoring it or positioning it around another anchor event is probably,
could be useful.
Probably ideal, but too late this year.
That would be Denver then, though, which we don't have a man on the ground in.
We don't have a man on the ground.
Yeah, I kind of think. I mean, if you anchor to the other event, it's sort of a little different anyway. It's sort of always going to be then like, it's not really its own thing. It's sort of just an after show or a pre-show for the main thing, which is fine. But I think it kind of gets back into that. It's a different kind of thing. Mm-hmm. That would kind of push me more towards like, let's just do a party. There's a party the night before for people who aren't speakers dinner. It's the most technical party and it's awesome. And we just,
sounds fun.
That sounds like, that sounds it's just a mostly technical party for the people who aren't speakers and you just come and hang out. So I wouldn't be totally opposed to that. Like that's something I think we can actually do. Kind of a great idea. Yeah. I mean, we can even have cheap tickets so that it's not like all on us to pay for everybody's booze for 4 hours or whatever. We could like, even if it's like $20 or something, like just enough to take the like edge off the cost a bit.
We could get a sponsor for that for sure.
We could get a sponsor for sure. Yeah, I think we get a sponsor. So that's a possibility. Which is one kind of thing. On the pure conference thing, I do think a huge city is very useful because we could probably get like 20 people who just live around Dallas, right? Or 30 people.
Yes,
like
totally.
So like right there, it's like, okay, well, we know we have like a third of the conference attendees done just by people who can drive. And then, that lowers the numbers you need to actually get on an airplane and come to Dallas for 2 days to come to the conference. So I do like the idea of a really big city, which Dallas is. And between then, if you consider the other sort of drivable Texas cities, you have a pretty good amount of people who could come from there. Obviously, totally. New York, which is going to be very expensive. We could do, those kind of cities, really big cities that will have just a lot of listeners in them inherently. And we could drag them in. So it's interesting.
All right. Seed planted.
I think I like the idea of the before party better just because it's less work.
It is less work
by a lot. And,
by a mile, yes.
Even if we wanted to have a speaker at that or something, like, hey, somebody's going to give a talk for 30 minutes as like you need stuff. I don't know. There's going to be something.
AV,
yeah, you need AV and all that stuff. I don't know. There's probably a way we could do something at it besides just everybody gets drunk, but and/or hangs out. You don't have to get drunk.
You don't have to get drunk, but you do have to hang out.
I had the last like couple of weeks is like the first drinks I've had in over a year. It's been crazy. And they really hit me too. I was like, whew. Yeah, gallbladder.
Listen, if y'all want a mostly technical party the night before Laracon starts in Denver, let us know because that sounds awesome to me.
That does sound kind of awesome. Mostly technical.
I'll have to go to the speaker dinner, but
true. I'll be holding it down.
You'll be holding it down, and then I'll flee and come over, and
that would actually work out good because you could drag the speakers over to the party.
Yep.
Yeah. So that would be a nice thing for like halfway through the party or whatever, all the speakers show up or, some chunk of them and mingle with the people. So we got the other nice thing is I got the whole Userscape team there.
Yeah.
So like we have people who can help and run the show. So it's not
Producer Dave another expense. Now is a party producer. There we go.
Dave. Oh, Dave's going to love this idea. So yeah, it's not like an additional expense though of like, well, we have to get a bunch of people to Dallas to help us actually check people in and set up and do all the stuff. And
really, the good ideas per minute on this show, it's so high.
Way up here,
it's
man.
Way up there. We're easily at like 0.1 to 0.2 good ideas per minute.
We're 1%ers on the good ideas.
Easily. This is awesome. Okay, I like this idea. This is good. This is good. This is what we call a yes and, This is you back and forth, you figure out where we're going, everything's agreeable, and then we land on something that's a great idea.
I think that could work. It's also like, we dip our toe in without, the full commitment. It's fun. We like fun.
And it's so cool. Like imagine having a mostly technical party.
I think people will be very excited about that.
That'd be so awesome.
And we know all our people are there. You know what I mean? Like the core listeners, a lot, they either want to go to Laracon or they are going to Laracon. Like, so we don't have to convince them to go. and we can do the fun parts of the conference, which is have a party and chat with people and not worry that the speakers aren't doing their slides until the last second and all the stressful parts of all that.
I'm gonna have to start speaker wrangling pretty soon. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let us know if you want to party. Maybe we'll make that happen. I like that idea. All right. I think that's a good spot. Let's wrap it.
Read us out.
Thanks, everybody. You can find everything you need about the show over at mostlytechnical.com. You can sponsor the show. We have another sponsor probably coming on next week, which would be cool, but there's still a few slots. Talk to your boss. Get on the show. Sponsor the show.
Very inexpensive. Please sponsor the show.
Very inexpensive. You guys all know. You know WorkOS. You know Laravel Cloud. You know Bento. Like, think about how much you think about these things.
You know the sponsors. Come on.
You know them. That could be you and your business. Thanks for listening. Catch you next week. See y'all later.
See ya.